it's Michelle. Sometimes when you're working with someone that's restricted due to medical complications in the hospital, we have to allow the equipment to do what it needs to do. But I want you to think about how to create movement despite the equipment or around the equipment. So you don't want to interfere with the intubation and all of that in the NG tube and so forth. You don't want areas to lock up, especially too when you're working with arthrogryposis, let's say. You have the contractures and things that are going on, and just those contractures will change the way from the wrist, let's say, on up, or fingers on up into the shoulder girdle, will affect the way movement is capable of going, and despite also what's going on, and then again with the restrictions. So one of the things I want you to work with, you can go from the head. I'm going to show you from sideways too, because obviously too, the child's not always in that position. If by any chance you can get her flipped on the bed, wahoo. You know, people don't think about that because we always think of the pillow as the pillow and that's closest to the oxygen and so forth. But when you're working with your child in a hospital setting, if you can get the child to be either pull the bed away from the wall that you can come in from behind, or from the side more, or change the variation to touch versus usually it's just from the pelvis in the approach, and you're just coming in, and so it's not a double lift. I'm not looking to lift the child. What I'm looking to do is sort of create that boat, very similar to the water bowl technique that I use, but you're just coming in and you're just adding that light rotation. I can't even begin to tell you, you're just right there on the extremities. I'm not looking to go under the shoulder, anything like that. And see, I want that counter, right? What equipment does is, or anything that is of mass, and I have to say that correctly because technically we are mass, but we're also a living organism. So I'm not a cup. So a cup mass can't oppose gravity. It can't create any sort of movement, where I'm living biology and my movements are always organized in opposing gravity. Well, when you have medical equipment, that's mass going against biological mass. And so the differentiation of the way that the body is starting to prepare movements, to organize movements, is different. And so now you're just coming in and you're just offering that counter. Right? So again, I'm just right here. I can't even begin to tell you how gentle this is. And you can come in just same-sided, water going up against that beach, and then coming back again. But I want you to go from the elbow, shoulders, into, again, lower head. However it is medically safe, because that's another thing. We don't want to compromise that. And that's one way I want you to go. And now I'm going to offer you a second aspect with the arm. When you're working with the arms, especially with arthrogryposis, the contractures either give the assimilation of change in proportions, because again, even in this baby doll, the hands come right to the hip proportion-wise. When you have arthrogryposis, it tends to pull it up. But also, a lot of people with arthrogryposis, the limbs are actually shorter than they should be proportionally. When you change the status of the way that the system or the body is constructed, you're also going to change the proportions of the movements. I'm a visualizer. That's how I work. So imagine like I had a little marble and I wanted to roll down the arm. Right now, because there's an incline, decline, the roll would be there. But that changes, and again, this is with counter. So I'll just bring this up to a type of parallel, and then I rotate, let's say, into the left, and I let that elbow come down towards the floor. I do it in such a way that I can feel that come down. Now, if you feel that heavy because of the contractures, don't think twice about offering just a little finger out there to create much more balance and counterbalance versus restrictions. So again, you just want to do this, and eventually you want it where the wrist is just going right above the hips, that weight transfer, and start to feel more. As you can see, my shoulder, now I'm going a little bit faster. You'll see me do it like this, and it looks like I'm not doing anything. You just think you're doing these little minute details and movements, and they have a lot more power than you think, as long as you maintain gentle touch, but with rotation. When you don't have rotation, even my silicone won't counter, versus when I'm here with rotation. Thanks.